Manchester United got that morale-boosting win, didn't they, at the weekend? A 3-0 victory over Southampton following back-to-back defeats. They switched their attention to the Carabao Cup when they take on Barnsley tomorrow night. We can hear from Erik ten Hag now.
First of all, you've talked a lot about winning trophies. This was one of the trophies that you have won. How seriously do you take this game?
It's about winning trophies, but I don't talk only about this. You guys are always talking about you have to win, and to win leagues, and so we are in 5 leagues, and we want to win them. So no doubt, we are aiming for a trophy. So this is one opportunity. So we take it seriously.
In terms of your team, first of all, is there any chance of Luke Shaw coming back, and if not, is there any update on him? And also, Ugarte clearly came on. Is he likely to start?
First, Luke Shaw. He's progressing, but not yet ready for be selected. And Ugarte, you will see tomorrow what the selection will be for this game.
Sorry, can you just clarify, when is Luke potentially going to play?
He's progressing well, and of course we have a plan in our head when he can be ready, but you're always dependent on how the progress will go, and you can't think, you can't make a suggestion, and because there are so many factors why a real plan can accelerate or can slow down.
In terms of selection, how big a dilemma have you got? Because you picked up a win at the weekend to start building a little bit of momentum. You've got Palace coming up next weekend. How important is it to get the team selection right tomorrow? Because you want to keep that momentum going, don't you?
Absolutely, very important. And I think, I hope I have headaches. And because last year I had also headaches, but there were no players available. So I hope I have many players available, and then we can make a selection from game to game. Definitely, we have to rotate because we have to cover so many games, and so it's not only about a start 11.
So a nice headache.
That is a nice headache.
In terms of the competitions, you've obviously won this trophy in your first season, then you won the FA Cup. Do you accept now that maybe the bar's risen a little bit, the owners need you to push on and win something more significant?
No, I would say it's significant. FA Cup, Carabao Cup, it's significant. I see all the attention from all the teams, from all the owners, from all the managers, when they win a trophy like Liverpool last year did with winning the Carabao Cup. And I saw that final, and not only going up to that final, I saw all the teams battling for it. We want the same. So it's very important. And in football, to win trophies, and in England football, it's very important. You have 5 leagues, you have 5 opportunities, and our aim is always to win all the games. So win all the trophies if possible.
Erik, you talk about the importance of the squad players getting minutes. This is a huge opportunity for Anthony, who just before the season started said that he wanted to prove to everybody how good of a player he is. Is this the best opportunity for him to prove to everybody?
Tomorrow you will see what the lineup will be, and we have everyday training, and the players have to earn the right to play. When players doing the right things in training, when the attitude is good, when they show performance in training, then they will earn the right to play.
Erik, in terms of the players that came off at the weekend, the defenders, Martinez, Mazraoui, I think De Ligt was just a cramp, but how are those players going into this game?
They are all available. They are good.
Okay, and also on the injury front, in terms of Rasmus, Victor Lindelof, Mason Mount, I think it looked like perhaps they wouldn't be ready this week, but might have a chance next week after the Palace game. Is that about right?
So they are not ready for tomorrow.
possibility for the weekend?
We will see how the progress will continue.
Laszlo Schüler from Hungarian RTR Television. Question about Dominic Szoboszlai. There will be another celebration. If he plays, it will be his 50th game in Liverpool. So far, he played all 4 games full time, 90 minutes. How important is his role for you in the team?
I think all of the squad players they have an important role, and he's played all 4 of them now, and every player feels more important when he plays than when he's not playing, but every squad member has his role, and during a season all of them will play a lot because we play a lot of games. But he's been important for us, especially till now in our work when we don't have the ball, so he's been outstanding in his pressing game, and I think something that we have to work on with him is that he's also even more involved in scoring goals and creating chances for us, because I think last season he scored 3, if I remember correctly, and for an attacking midfielder at Liverpool, his numbers needs to go up, but I'm really happy with the way he's done till now, and I'm 100% sure that if he plays in a team with so much quality around him and with the quality he has, that he will in the end score more goals for us as well.
Jadon here, the blue suit.
Buonasera mister, sono Paolo Vinci, televisione italiana, Netvic Telecity.
Yes, I can.
Benissimo, le chiedo, lei ha raccontato adesso in breve la storia del Milan, la storia del Liverpool, di 2 grandi squadre, di grandissimi incontri, e soprattutto le chiedo in questo momento di cosa si ha paura, di qualcosa del Milan, di qualche giocatore che vorrebbe togliere da questa squadra del Milan. Grazie.
I don't know if the translation is correct, but the word scared was used. If I was scared for some players or for AC Milan, I don't think any manager or any team is scared to play the other team, but we have a lot of respect for the quality and the players and the history of Milan. So the first one that comes to my mind is of course a Dutch player, Tijani Reinders, who's done really well over here and also for the Dutch national team last week. So they have quality players. We're not scared, but we do respect all of their players, because they've shown last Saturday that they're in good form, had a very good 4-0 win. So we respect Milan a lot, but scared is not the word we would use.
Buonasera mister, and happy birthday for tomorrow. Prima mi sono un po' stupito perché i colleghi inglesi parlano di delusione per la sconfitta di sabato. Alisson prima ha detto addirittura rimettere in carreggiata la stagione, eppure il Liverpool ha fatto 3 grandi vittorie nelle prime 3 partite e una sconfitta che può capitare, cioè secondo me può capitare. È davvero così pesante la situazione del Liverpool, cioè è così tanta la delusione per questa sconfitta che bisogna tornare subito a vincere, ecco, come se fosse già una partita decisiva, una finale. Grazie.
What are the other things?
But we have to put Rafe after what went wrong on Saturday.
Oh yeah,
we have to be better.
Not only the journalists were disappointed about the result from us against Nottingham Forest, the team and me were really disappointed as well. Although we always put it in the right perspective, when we beat United, the journalists and us were really positive, of course. But I also saw things we had to improve. And last Saturday, we didn't do as many things good as we did against United, but there were still a few things that went quite well. But it was a total different game, and that's also for tomorrow. I expect a complete different game against Milan, with the type of players they have and the playing style that manager has compared to Nottingham Forest. But we should be disappointed if you lose a home game against Nottingham Forest and you play for and you work for Liverpool. If you're not disappointed, if you drop points in a home game against Nottingham Forest, then something is wrong. So 4 games, 9 points. it's a good start, but it's not a great start because then we would have had 12.
Arne, good evening. Ian Dennis, BBC Radio. In the old Champions League format, if you won your home games or got to 10 points, there was a fair chance that you would qualify. I'm just intrigued to think how many points you think might be required in this new phase, and also what are your thoughts about the revamped Champions League format?
Oh, a lot of questions in one. I think it's difficult for me to tell you now how many points are needed because it's the first time we play this competition and it's 8 games. So I've been in Europe for a few years with my former clubs, and sometimes we went through to the next round. I think one time even with 6 points or 7 points, and we ended up number 1 in the group. So that is difficult to say before you start, but I think it's clear that if you want to end up in the first 8, you have to win a lot of games. You need a lot of points. And what I think about the format, that's also something you can ask me better in the end. The only thing I like about it, just as someone who loves to see football every night on television, is that on every night there's a nice fixture. Where in the former format, sometimes there were evenings you're like, okay, tomorrow is a nicer game than today. But now, for example, with our game tomorrow, I think everybody who loves football is looking forward to that game. So that is the...
We will leave Arne Slot there as we build up to a fabulous week of Champions League football.
He goes to Dortmund and we see the change in his character, in his personality, everything about him, and then he goes with Maresca, and straight away he's speaking after the game saying how settled he feels, how he's enjoying working with the manager, how the manager's putting his arm around him, basically understanding the character straight away. And we're talking about one game in, but that can change so much in your attitude towards training, towards what you feel going into a game. He'll feel like he can take every player on every single time now. Whereas his legs will have felt heavy, his mind will have felt heavy at United. He'll have felt negative every time he stepped out onto the pitch, like he didn't want to be there. It's incredible what an opinion can do.
So what do Chelsea do? Because he looked happy, and Nkunku comes on and plays in that number 9 role, which is not really his role. He's normally kind of left side, isn't he? But scored the goal. But then you got Neto they've spent a lot of money on, so do you move him over to the right? But then you got Madueke over there, and then you got João Felix who came on, but you want Cole Palmer to play in the 10, or do you want him to play on the right? I'm confused by all of this, Stephen Warnock. Sort that out. So does Jadon Sancho start next game against West Ham? Does Nkunku start up front rather than Jackson? And where do you put Neto and Madueke and Cole Palmer and Felix?
Well, all you'd say is that as to...
And Mudryk.
And Mudryk, yeah. As to all the players that come in, you are here to play a rotation game. And as long as you've got a medal around your neck at the end of the season, or close to it, the goal won't be to win the Premier League this season, but it'll be to break into that top 4. The goal next year should be to win the Premier League, because they have got so much talent within their squad. But like we've said before, there's going to be ups and downs this season, trying to understand the new system. But the players will understand, well, I'm competing against such and such. I know I'm going to have to be at my best this week. And do you know what? If he plays next week, so be it. But I'm going to play the week after, and I'm going to have to perform at my maximum. They have got so much talent that they have to understand they're not going to play every game. They're going to rotate. It's Chelsea Football Club at the end of the day. They're a massive football team, massive club, and they shouldn't be where they've been in the last few years, but it is a rebuilding phase. But they are such a talented forward 6 to 8 players, and they're going to have to rotate, and they're going to have to come to terms with that.
And you know as a player as well that if you get that opportunity, you've got to take it, haven't you? You look at Neto maybe taking a little bit of time to adapt. Jadon Sancho thought, OK, this is my opportunity to come on and show exactly what I'm about. And that's exactly what he's done. So he'll be wanting to start that next game, but he'll know that there's a lot of players in that position, in those attacking areas that can also play in that position, that'll also be training and saying, look at me.
Dewsbury Hall's another one.
Yeah, there's so many.
Success takes that all away, Rob.
Yeah.
If a team's successful, whether you play 20, 30, 40 games at the end of the season, if you're successful as a team, that all gets forgotten.
It is how to manage those players as well, though. That's the only thing, because, in the big games, you want to play, don't you? You want to be in that starting 11, so it's how, as a manager, do you deal with those players that aren't starting?
Yes, because it's interesting, because he was saying Ben Chilwell's now been reintroduced or reintegrated into the squad, having been seen to be on the outside. So he's got that kind of managerial headache as well, hasn't he?
And that is hard because you're trying to obviously manage your squad that you've got, but then he also had other players that were on the outside that now, like you say, Chilwell's been reintegrated. So it's about making sure that they stay confident and they still feel part of the squad.
I think it's clever. I think it's clever from him because he also knows Ben Chilwell's a great player. If we can get him fit, he's an asset to the team. But also what it does is it gives the other players on the fringes belief that they can get back in. And I think it's a sign of the manager as well that he hasn't got a big ego and he hasn't just said, that's my final decision. I appreciate managers who go, do you know what, I might be wrong on that. Everyone's wrong at some point, and I think that's good from him.
The hearing has begun into the 100-plus charges brought against Manchester City for alleged breaches of competition rules. Joining us now, the former City chairman, David Bernstein. David, lovely to see you. So you're a former chairman of the club. You've written a book about the club, so you're the perfect person for us to speak to. City deny all charges. Are you surprised it's got to this stage?
Good evening, good afternoon. No, I'm not surprised it's got to this stage. I mean, there's 115 charges. They cover a wide range, a wide period of time, and on the surface, they are serious charges that have to be answered. So I'm not at all surprised. I think, in a way, they should have got to this stage somewhat earlier, but these things do take time.
If you're a City fan, should you be worried?
Well, I am a City fan, and as well as being an ex-chairman, I am worried. And on the surface, they look to be serious charges. City will have the best lawyers. They will defend themselves as they absolutely have the right to do, and we will see. I mean, this is really heavy stuff, and what saddens me greatly is that the club, which has come up from where it was as a club which was underperforming for many, many years, to be probably the greatest performing club of all time, with 4 league wins in a row and everything else that it's done. And to have the possibility of that being tarnished by all this is really, really sad. But we'll see what happens. I mean, we may find that they're not guilty of these things.
Clearly, this hearing is very important to Manchester City. How important is it to the Premier League?
Yeah, greatly so. It's very important to City. It's very important to the Premier League. It's very important to the wider football world. So there's a great deal at stake in terms of reputations, financially. When one saw the penalties that's put on Everton for what appear to be lesser offences, then you wonder what might happen if City are found guilty of many of these things. But again, as I say, it's all to play for, and we will see what happens.
Indeed. I want to move away from City for a moment because UEFA have said that England may be thrown, and English clubs may be thrown out of European competition because of governmental interference. Do UEFA have a point?
Well, not a great point. First of all, I don't think that will ever happen. We've heard these sort of threats before. Secondly, the regulator is and has to be an independent regulator. Admittedly, the regulator will be appointed with the authority of Parliament, and that was always important to give the regulator sufficient power, to do what the regulator needs to do. But it is not government running football. That's number one. Number two, other countries, Spain, France, Germany, have had government, let's call it interference, involvement in various aspects of the game. I mean, with Spain, there was government issues about broadcasting rights with Real Madrid and Barcelona. I believe in France there's a sports code which was sort of underwritten by the government. So this is not absolutely new. But nobody that I know, including myself, wants to see government running football. That's not the intention.